I'm not sure how I'm going to title this video in the future, but Brawlhalla needs so much work for it to actually be a good game. And today, that's what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be venting about everything BMG need to address before it's too late. Okay, so the elephant in the room is obviously the servers. Not to exaggerate or anything, but I can't think of a game that runs worse than Brawlhalla. And most of the time, it has the audacity to lie to my face and tell me I'm still on 4 bars. It might be a bit cliche, but I think it's the most egregious thing Brawlhalla does. I mean, seriously, it lags so hard that you can't leave the game or even the post-game lobby sometimes. And other times, it boots you out of the game completely. And it even happened once with the post-game lobby. Sometimes the devs manage to break the game so badly that even picking up weapons lags the game out completely. And if you're online and using the servers, no game mode is safe. Not even the pre-game training mode, and in rare cases navigating the menus. I understand that rollback netcode is considered to be the gold standard for fighting games, but rollback happens far too often. I come from primarily a fighting game background, and all of which I took seriously and played at high level. And I seriously can't remember another game I experienced this amount of problems with. Mortal Kombat was bad from time to time, but it would only be for a brief moment every 20 matches or so, and both players would be at the mercy of the game, so it's not nearly as bad. The last time I remember dealing with disconnects this often was when the host died in Black Ops Zombies because he downed and lost the Thunder Gun. Shout out to all the unks who experienced firsthand what I'm talking about. You're probably so old now that you're in a nursing home and can't get me off the TV without the help of the nurse. Now obviously lag isn't the only issue Brawlhalla has, and some are a little less subjective in how broken they actually are. Because they quite literally don't work as intended. This one is non-negotiable. So it turns out 11 speed on Thea doesn't currently do anything besides take another stat point for free, as per this user here. And I haven't tested 11 strength or defense yet, but I suspect the same goes for these two. I'll update the pinned comment with my findings if me or anyone else tests it for you guys though. We at least know that 10 dexterity works as intended, but I'm worried the same might happen if 11 dexterity is ever possible. Listen, I'm aware BMG are slowly working on this issue already, but I have to include it, of course. This next one is a problem that affects most legends in one way or another, by certain attacks randomly dropping mid-animation due to weird, unwanted interactions. This happens more frequently than you would think with, if I remember correctly, around 30 signatures being adjusted by the devs. But it's not just signatures as I remember it happening with so many different light attacks in so many different circumstances that I stopped saving the videos and keeping record of them all. I'll cut the devs some slack on this since we don't actually know which ones are being worked on and which ones are even on the devs' radar to begin with. But the thing is, now that I've been made aware of this, the more I notice just how many moves drop. I'd be willing to bet every single attack in the game drops in one circumstance or another. Anyways, I don't want to stick to one topic for too long, but the next topic is matchmaking. And I'm strictly talking about experimental and unranked game modes. I just want to know how, after having 3,000 hours in this game, I'm able to find someone who doesn't even know where the jump button is. And yeah, sure, why not play ranked? Well, not to sound big-headed or anything, but the more my name grows, the more people run away from me, and some days I'll count over a dozen opponents in a row unwilling to approach me first a single time. And I quite frankly don't have the patience for it anymore. If you want the win so badly, you can have it. I'm here to have fun, and winning a boring match does nothing to stimulate me mentally. Which is a good segue into my next issue, the passivity problem. I've elaborated on all of this before, but the rock-paper-scissors system is a core fundamental aspect of fighting games that's just simply missing from Brawlhalla. If you don't know what that is, the simplified version would be dodging beats attacks, attacks beat throws, and throws beat dodges. But of course, some of you keen-eyed individuals notice that Brawlhalla is missing the entire third option, throwing. Brawlhalla makes up for this with movement or with directional dodges that aren't entirely invincible. But the only analogy I can think of that makes sense would be, imagine if you are playing rock, paper, scissors, but the only options are paper and scissors, and the only way paper can win is if it's too long to cut, or if it's flapping in the wind uncontrollably. I don't know what the solution to this is. It might be too late since the foundation of Brawlhalla has been built around its core mechanics, and when you change the game so drastically, you run the risk of killing the game overnight. Nowadays, I find myself enjoying the 2v2s tournaments a lot more because having 4 players cramped on a map like that sort of forces the action to happen no matter what. Don't get me wrong, I don't personally like to play the game mode myself, especially if you've ever had the misfortune of playing friendly 2v2s. You'll know exactly what I mean. But as far as esports go, 1v1 tournaments are usually hit or miss, depending on how passive everyone decides to be, and 2v2s is almost guaranteed to deliver. Another issue is the now infamous power creep. Admittedly, it's not all new legends, as King Zuva, Ransom, and Lady Vera weren't all that. But for the majority of legends, the theme seems to be to release the legend in a super overtuned state, and slowly work on bringing them back down to reality with the rest of the legends. I'm all for the art style improving over time, and I'm not actually complaining about the visual aspect of the signatures, arguably being the most overpowered thing about them. As I think, if anything, older legends should be updated accordingly, like Sentinel's and Cassidy's reworks respectively. It's hard to argue that Thatch's signatures are on the same level as, say, Imugi or Teska's. I just think a couple of the older legends need a slight rework, but nothing too game-changing. Okay, so enough about that. Next on the agenda is items. So admittedly, another issue that's getting better over time but still deserves a mention is the progression items. Currently, there's only a handful of reasons to play a character past level 25, and they've all been pretty recent additions in the grand scheme of things. You have the challenge stance at level 40, the title at level 50, and the golden legend name at level 100. But other than that, there's no point. Sure, the guild rewards and a couple of additions to the ranked rewards are nice, but a reason to level my characters is nicer. I'm just spitballing here, but what about some type of dark matter color for weapons? If you get every single sword legend to level 25, for example. Or maybe since it is a live service game and legends are always getting added, it caps out after 5 legends or so. And of course, some other rewards to keep someone playing past that point. The same goes for your account level. I see no reason for the level to stop at 100 and keep going all the way to 1000. Of course, I'm not expecting a boatload of different rewards for the account level itself, but I don't see why it has to stop at 100. Keeping on the topic of in-game items, we have the Ascended bundles. Everyone has a strong opinion about them, and I personally think they are a bit pay-to-win and change the original visual and sound effects too much. Not to mention, locking them behind a paywall of 900 mammoth coins is a bit excessive, and maybe I could be wrong, but I think they would have made more money separating the bundle. They could even keep the bundle at 900 mammoth coins, and I doubt the community would be so vocal about it. I've gone on record multiple times about this, and I will continue to feel this way. I think the one-handed blasters are definitely pay to win, and it's not even a debate. I don't want to take any credit from Balloon Boy. I still think he's a generational talent, but you can't tell me he'd be performing even half as well on Vivi. And you already know if Diana had an overpowered crossover like Mega Man, he'd drop that character in a heartbeat. Don't take this as a critique on Balloon Boy, though. Anybody in his position with thousands of dollars on the line would do the same. And to anybody who disagrees and thinks that Vivi is overpowered by herself, tell me why there isn't a single other top-level competitor on that legend. Anyways, moving on. Another thing I'd like to see changed is the map pool in Unranked. Please just remove anything related to free-for-all, or the lava map, or the super long Star Wars map, or Crumbling and Crumbled Chasm. If I don't leave immediately, the other guy almost always does, and either way I simply refuse to play them. I need another 1 or 2 bannable maps for it to be worth my while, because I'm just rotating all the annoying maps until the game decides to shove a certain one down my throat and I ban it instead. And rinse and repeat until another one keeps annoying me in its place. And while we're sorta on the topic, there should be a whole dedicated tab to party modes, or just all of the secondary game modes in the main menu. And I don't mean hidden out of the way like the current Brawl of the Week. A full dedicated spot next to Strikeout, with splash art and some actual pizzazz. I debated putting this in the video because I personally don't enjoy putting new eyes onto the problem and potentially adding fuel to the fire. But there's another elephant in the room. Cheating. Or more specifically, botting. If you didn't know, Easy Anti-Cheat was removed a year or so back due to performance issues and was always notoriously pretty bad in its own right. Regardless, Brawlhalla has a botting problem. The cheats in question aren't going to make you a top contender. If anything, surely they're for earning gold and XP. Maybe one day these bots will be good enough to destroy diamonds with ease. But for now, they look and play like day 1 players. That's not why I'm talking about it, though. I'm not worried these cheats will become as bad as they are in other fighting games. I'm more concerned that this is becoming a bit like the dead internet theory, where most of my matches aren't even real people anymore. It's not all negative, though. I did want to highlight some of the good improvements that have been coming to the game, but again, these should only be the start. We have the guild rewards that I briefly touched upon, which I'm a fan of, especially the fact that you can earn skins for free. I hope they are working on more ways to spend guild points, maybe even a second wave of skins, and maybe a bit too optimistic, but even a couple of exclusive skins would be nice. The new Crystal Forged color is also another step in the right direction, and a way to continue some momentum would be to create a Crystal Forged weapon set to go along with it. Although never talked about, the challenges were also a great idea. Unfortunately, like the secondary game modes, It could use some more love in the main menu, as I'm sure a lot of new players are unaware of this feature altogether. Super stances were also an amazing step forward and has brought more new life to the meta than a balance patch could ever do. And I'm all for challenge stances giving people an excuse to grind past level 25. And whereas it's not exactly a feature being added and more one being taken away, I just want to say the dash jump fastfall changes have grown on me since my initial impressions, although it still hasn't exactly fixed the passivity problem. So anyways, that's enough yapping from me, and the part of the video where I turn over the discussion to you. What do you think Brawlhalla needs to drastically change? And what is Brawlhalla doing right? If you made it this far, do me a favor and like and hype the video. It takes 2 seconds and does the world of difference for a small channel like mine. And subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching, and I hope I'll see you in the next one. Now, if you need me, I will be playing my Unk Slop in peace.